The quiet town of Westfield, New Jersey, was forever scarred by a horrific crime in 1971. This peaceful community, known for its tranquility and close-knit families, was shaken to its core. John List, a seemingly ordinary accountant who was well respected in his community, methodically murdered his entire family in their stately home. The house, once a symbol of success, became a scene of unimaginable horror. The victims included his wife, Helen, his mother, Alma, and his 3 children, Patricia, John Jr., and Frederick. Each life was taken with chilling precision. The meticulously planned murders and List's subsequent disappearance left authorities baffled. How could a man so seemingly normal commit such atrocities? Helen List lay dead in the kitchen, shot from behind as she made lunch. The mundane act of preparing a meal turned into her final moments. Upstairs, Alma List was found in her apartment, a single bullet wound to the head. Her life ended in an instant. The 3 children were all found dead in the ballroom, each carefully arranged on sleeping bags. The sight was haunting and surreal. John List had used his father's World War I rifle to commit these unspeakable acts, then cleaned the murder weapon and placed it alongside a note confessing to the crimes. Who was John List, and what could have driven him to such extremes? The answers remain elusive, leaving a dark chapter in Westfield's history. The gruesome nature of the List family murders has led to numerous books, documentaries, and even a made-for-TV movie. In the years since the murders, a peculiar misconception has arisen, often associating the case with a Michigan murder house. This is inaccurate. While John List himself had ties to Michigan, the murders took place solely in Westfield, New Jersey. Born and raised in Bay City, Michigan, List spent his formative years in the Wolverine State. He later moved to Virginia and then to New Jersey for work. However, the heinous crimes he committed were solely connected to his life and struggles in Westfield. It's crucial to differentiate between List's past and the location of his crimes. John Emil List was born in 1925 in Bay City, Michigan. A quiet and devoutly religious boy, he was described as intelligent, but rigid and unyielding in his beliefs. After serving in the Army during World War II, List returned home and pursued a career in accounting. He married Helen, and the couple started a family. Outwardly, they appeared to be a normal middle-class family. However, beneath the surface, John List harbored deep-seated insecurities and a rigid worldview that would ultimately prove to be a toxic combination. He purchased a grand Victorian mansion, aiming to provide his family with the life he felt they deserved. But behind the facade of success, List was struggling. This twisted logic, fueled by desperation and delusion, would ultimately lead to the unthinkable. On November 9, 1971, John List put his sinister plan into action. It was a day that would forever be etched in the annals of true crime history. He began by murdering his wife, Helen, shooting her in the back of the head while she made lunch. The tranquility of their suburban home was shattered in an instant. He then went upstairs to his mother's apartment, killing her in the same manner. His mother, Alma, never saw it coming. His children, home from school, were his next victims. They walked into a nightmare they could never have imagined. One by one, he shot and killed them, arranging their bodies in the ballroom. The once lively room now became a macabre scene of death. List then meticulously cleaned the crime scene, removing any trace of his presence, except for a chilling confession letter addressed to his pastor. He took great care to ensure no evidence was left behind. In it, he justified his actions, claiming he had saved his family's souls by taking their lives before they could be corrupted by the evils of the world. His twisted logic was laid bare in every word. With the murders completed, List vanished. He disappeared without a trace, leaving authorities baffled. John List had effectively erased himself, leaving behind only a trail of unimaginable horror. The house stood empty, a silent witness to the atrocities committed within its walls. For nearly 18 years, John List lived under an assumed identity, starting a new life in Denver, Colorado. He managed to evade capture by meticulously crafting a new persona. He remarried, assuming the name Robert Clark, and continued working as an accountant. His new life seemed ordinary and unremarkable, a stark contrast to his dark past. He blended into his new life, seemingly free from the horrific crimes of his past. List was known as a quiet, unassuming man who kept to himself, never arousing suspicion. However, law enforcement never gave up on finding John List. The case remained open, and investigators continued to search for leads. In 1989, the FBI, with the help of the television show America's Most Wanted, aired an episode featuring an age-progressed bust of List. This broadcast reached millions of viewers across the nation. A tip from a former neighbor in Denver led to List's arrest. The neighbor recognized the age-progressed image and contacted authorities immediately. John List was extradited back to New Jersey to face trial for his crimes. The trial attracted significant media attention, bringing his past back into the spotlight. Despite his attempts to plead insanity, he was found guilty on 5 counts of murder. The jury was unconvinced by his defense, and the evidence against him was overwhelming. He was sentenced to 5 consecutive life terms, ensuring he would spend the rest of his days behind bars. The sentence reflected the gravity of his crimes and the impact on the victims' families. John Emil List died in prison in 2008 at the age of 82. His death marked the end of a long and tragic chapter in criminal history.